The following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget that they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always are my co-hosts. She spent the past fortnight drawing on her face with a biro and stamping about in a German forest, eating leeks. It's Bernadette.
Eating leeks, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, leeks and cheese, yeah. And he is having a big sulk after being turned down by the government for funding for his horse Uber business idea. It's James.
It appears everywhere you appear.
Without asking, and returns home. Yeah, charges itself up.
Don't even need to feed it. It does its own thing.
Feed it leaks. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Greats and on Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness. We are also, you can email us, hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com, and for some bizarre reason, we're now doing Twitch streams on Friday of bizarre Japanese dating games. So that's a fun thing. That's like a hallmark of great or something at Twitch. What? I don't know what it is.
I love how appalled you look at your own decision to do that.
No, yeah, no one's forced you to do it.
The KFC one was kind of funny, but I'm apprehensive about this new one because everyone's like, "Oh, when it happens," and I'm like, "Oh no." So it's either going to be something that's like horrible or something that's like it's going to be pervy, That's the two options that are available to me.
Why not both?
How are we both? It's been a while.
Hay fevery. Sound like Tom Waits. Tropicana season.
Wear sunglasses when you go out. Stop the pollen going in your eyes.
That's the only difference between me and him.
If you have a mask on and your sunglasses, you're pretty much safe from pollen.
Yep. You could also cook meth.
We've been trying to grow grass, and I don't understand why we've got to grow something that hates me. It's just my enemy.
Grow grass, doesn't it? Just grow.
Well, inevitably. I mean, I suppose it is a weed that you choose, so it's not a weed, but it could be a weed.
I don't know. I've never thought. I thought you just bought turf and slapped that down. I didn't realise it came from. I guess it has to come from somewhere, doesn't it?
We didn't get turf, so we had to go out with the grass seeds. Oh, actually, I didn't, but somebody else did. And now it's killing me very slowly.
You build up an immunity to it. You never will. Let's get into this week's film, The Return of Don the Dragon Wilson in Bloodfist 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
It's not that one, is it? Why is that button even there then?
You're out of practice.
It says intro on it. I've clearly not labelled them correctly.
Yeah. Due to isolation, Joe can't remember the right buttons.
It's been a long time since I've used this panel. James, your synopsis for Bloodfist 2, knowing what we know about Bloodfist 1, or just Bloodfist.
So I did try to build on that a bit with mine. So it made it a little bit easier for the synopses. I've got here Jake Ray, a disenfranchised man trying to rebuild his life at St. Jean-Claude's reform school, is trying to rebuild his life after being implicated in nearly 20 murders in Manila. On returning home, he aims to discover who he is, what it is that he should do, and what happened to his father. 70 minutes plus blooper reel. And in making that, I realised that that's why it's called Claude's Reform School, isn't it? It's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Possibly.
So many layers.
The poster for Bloodfist 2 doesn't give a lot away, does it?
Does what it says on the tin. Don the Dragon Wilson is back kicking people.
He does do a lot of kicking in this one. This film to me felt a lot like playing Streets of Rage. It was just constant fighting.
There was a bit too much kicking.
And moving on to the next bit and then doing a bit more fighting.
It's a bit jaundiced, that synopsis, isn't it? Oh, there he goes again, kicking people.
That's all he does in this film.
Not
He
even
does some
taking
punching,
names.
and someone gets a harpoon thrown through them. The actual synopsis for Bloodfist 2. Kickboxing champion Jake Ray thought his fighting days were over until a call from an old friend draws him to the Far East and into the hands of a madman. This time, Jake's fighting for his life, which he was in the first one as well. So, I don't fully understand. But this is the trailer. The trailer's pretty good.
He made Bloodfist the most popular kickboxing movie of all time. Now, Bloodfist 2, featuring Maurice Smith, world heavyweight champion, Manny Sampson, martial arts champion, James Warren, world cruiserweight champion, and starring Don the Dragon Wilson, the highest rated kickboxer of all time.
10 on kickboxers.com.
Betrayed by his best friend, the Dragon is taken to a secret island for a battle of champions. Don Wilson consistently delivers knockout action. Official Karate magazine. Twice
I thought he
the
was doing his
action,
own reviews
twice
then.
the adventure, and 11 on the 10 scale. Century Cable Network. Rarely is a sequel more powerful than the original. Bloodfist 2 is a knockout. Inside Karate magazine. Bloodfist 2. The knockout movie of the 90s.
Now that, I think, has the exact same amount of punching noises as Fatal Deviation has in that 30-second clip of him in the shed. I will say, I don't know whether or not I preferred this over Bloodfist.
Oh, no. Bloodfist 1. I mean, that introduces you to the character of Jake Ray, the man who shows all emotion through the art of kicking.
Yeah, and we got a bit of storyline with Bloodfist. Bloodfist 2 is just kicky, kick.
Call him by his full name, Jake the Dragon Ray, as they can only afford one nickname in this film.
Yeah, none of the others have nicknames.
I found out an interesting fact about the guy when they go to the island. He lines them all up, and he literally goes down the line and goes like Kenny Peters, world punching champion. Yeah, the guy at the end who's like the wrestling guy is not a wrestling guy. He's just some guy that blagged it on the day. Apparently,
Nice.
he showed up and was like, "Yeah, I'm like 121-0 in fights," and it turns out he's never had a fight in his life. And that's why his fight sequence that he has is kind of him just falling over a lot. Yeah, it's good. We open up with fighting. And this is a theme throughout this film.
Kick.
It would have been more, astonishing if it had opened with a flower show or something.
Jake has retired and is now running like a high-end chocolate shop.
Chocolate tears, but
Yeah, see, it works. But he's fighting in what I thought was a boxing match because it looked very much like a boxing match. They got boxing gloves on.
How did you make that mistake? Because his opponent has shorts on that say kickboxing on them.
Kickboxing! And as he got other shorts, so he's like, Susan, I'm going in hot tub, get my swimming shorts.
Get my hot tub shorts. I'm mowing the lawn.
Get my lawn mowing shorts.
Got them socks that have got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on them, so you know what day of the week it is. So after the last film, he has fallen on hard times and he's now taking dives. Not taking dives, but like there's a bet on for him to finish this guy in the next round coming. Bruce Boom Boom Bannon, I believe is his name.
It's not his name, so he does get a nickname. Boom Boom.
Yeah, well, it's also
He's got the Nutriboom slogan. That's his nickname. Yeah. There's this man, and he's obviously taken something, and he just keeps coming and gets his bodily juices all over Jake. He won't stop coming. Oh, that's a nasty
The coach
sentence.
put something up his nose.
Yeah, because I was like, coke's a hell of a fucking drug, but I think it might be the stuff that they give the other people later on.
Yeah.
I reckon it is. Yeah.
So they're out to get the dragon from the start. They're literally chasing the dragon.
So it turns out to be Jake's worst ever fight because he ends up killing this dude. So actually, he knocks him down,
With a kick to the jugular.
And these people just rush on stage. And then the commentator says that his opponent has just been pronounced dead.
Yep.
What?
100%. An actual proper referee would have stopped this a long time ago because he was getting his ass handed to him.
Oh, look very quickly, and you can see the light drain from his eyes, ladies and gentlemen.
But don't they say like the match has lasted approximately a minute or something? It wasn't a long time.
That round,
Wow.
it's like the third round, so it would have been if it was. I don't know what the rules of kickboxing, but boxing is 3-minute rounds, so we're on 7 minutes at this point, and his face is messed up. There was a good bit of reused footage where he pushes him into the ropes and then kicks him. They do that twice in a row, and didn't think anyone would notice. And then everyone in the audience is very, very like they literally want to see someone die in front of them, and so yeah,
That's a Bloodfist crowd.
Yeah, well, it's better. You don't get that in Fatal Deviation, do you? No, they were
Apart from that
waiting for the
one
meat
old
raffle,
woman,
weren't they? And then he literally kicks him in the throat.
Take that, jugular.
And I'm like, that's not nice. Yeah, so he's out and he's dead. Oh, the guy doing the announcement as well sounds like Vic Reeves. He sounds like Vic Reeves doing Kinky John. He's like, I did this country. We gotta do. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so there's loads of reporters around, and Jake's obviously really troubled about having killed a bloke, even though that's all he did in the last one. It's just off people. But this one really bothers him, and there's loads of reporters around saying what he's going to do next, and he pledges never to fight again, never, and then throws his
belt into the audience, and a small fight breaks out over that.
So he's already caused another fight.
Yeah, well, he's not getting involved in that though. He's never going to fight again because his guilty fists have got no rhythm.
And then it cuts to a messy room with trophies, and I think it implies that it's 2 years later or something like that. And there's a series of magazines called Muscular Development.
Yeah, when it does this pan round while it's doing the things, I'm fairly sure one of the photos is him and Baby from the first film, which I thought was a nice little bit of callback. You know, he's got a picture of his dead friend there.
There's no other reference to it. So,
well, this is the only time that Don the Dragon Wilson plays the same character. All the rest of the Bloodfists, he plays someone else. So this is the only continuation of that story. He's in bed with a lady.
Boobs on show.
I mean, they had to get it in there somewhere, didn't they? We know that's going to happen. It was fine. And he gets a phone call from someone who I've put Budget Dean Lerner, because his acting chops are very, what? Hello? Yeah, he kind of annoyed me. I didn't catch his name. Vinny. Of course it was Vinny. Yeah, why wouldn't it?
But I'm surprised he could actually hear Vinny on the phone, because that apartment is the noisiest apartment block I've ever heard.
Plus he had Hillary Boobies fiddling with his junk as well.
Yeah, just like twiddling his nipple. I don't even think she's paid to do that.
Don the Dragon likes that.
She's credited as Jake's girlfriend.
Oh, so she's not just...
But he gives her money, so...
He gives her money to leave, which... Okay, well...
Nicer than writing Jake's prostitute, isn't that, I suppose?
Well, yeah.
Prostitute? They didn't have to, like... say she belongs to someone.
Yeah, so Vinny is calling him from Manila. And to get that in there. And says that he's sort of in league with this guy called Sue. It's a very Johnny Cash moment. And that he's a gambler, a lowlife. Jake really hates this man despite having never met him. And Vinny wants Jake to come out to Manila and see him.
For some reason.
Sue's got him by the balls, that's why.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
So I think he says that he doesn't want Jake to fight because Jake doesn't do that as of 2 years ago when he killed a man after several years of killing people. But
he wasn't prosecuted for it.
Nope. No. That's the thing. Death is just so blasé in this universe. But he just wants Jake to come over and, show a bit of muscle, and this guy will back down. And then I was thinking, what happened to his tax dodging gym buddy? But he's never mentioned either.
No,
I can't remember his name.
I couldn't tell you. The absolute psychopath putting the flyers under the thing. Yeah, again, it's not like it is a continuation of the character, but also isn't, because there is no reoccurring characters in this apart from him. I think that's probably why they changed them later on in the other films. They just went, we'll keep the Bloodfist title, but we'll just have you as Leroy the Dragon Jones and Arnold the Dragon Palmer. That's the golf fighter. Yeah. He flies over.
Of dialogue. Hang on, because there's a choice of dialogue. Do you get this? So Jake's on the phone and says, "I'll be off in a minute." And she says, "Ooh, I can get someone else off in a minute." I don't know if she says in a minute, but she should have been.
Just by using your nipples.
Yep.
And there's something about teaching seminars in there as well. I don't think that kicking's taught through seminars. I don't know. I don't know what the topic of discussion at the seminar would be.
It's all in the it's like from the hips. Yeah.
Kick harder. So then there's a very swift thing with. I was disappointed by the plane because I was hoping to see an interior shot of it being wallpapered again, like in the first one.
No.
He touches down in Manila wearing a blue Oxford shirt.
Not a Hard Rock Cafe.
I know. No. I was disappointed in the fact that there was no Hard Rock Cafe in
It's gentrified.
He got sued. After the first one. He said something about taxis. A taxi fight breaks out.
Yeah, over his bag.
Yeah. And some guy's like, "I'll take you where the women are," and I'm like, "Dom's got a girlfriend."
Or is she?
I was hoping more from that taxi driver. He gets taken up by another one who I've put as a non-trade union Rob McElhenney from Sunny.
Yeah, I can see that.
Who says that it's too much? He says that the 100 pesos that this man was offering to take him to the Stronghold gym, isn't that a kind of flea treatment anyway? 100 pesos is about £1.48. That's too high. So
this is in 1990s, so like
you don't 1991 rate of inflation.
It's clearly a scam anyway, because after some taxi hijinks where he tries to pull round a car, but another car comes out, so he just has to like pull back in behind this car in front. It was all kind of something and nothing. He takes him down to an alleyway. He gets out, and then a guy just boots a football into his face.
I sympathise with him there because we've all been booted in the face with a football, but at least it's not cold in Manila because that would have been worse.
Oh yeah, big red face.
Well, up to this point, though, they were just playing what I described as lackluster football, where they were just sort of gathered around the football and not quite sure what to do with it.
But I've made a special note here that while the taxi driver's doing erratic driving, there's some pretty cool jazz music going on in the background.
I must have missed that.
All the way.
I think the football is a setup for a mugging.
Whatever gave you that idea?
No. I was like, didn't this happen in the first one as well, where he gets set upon in an alleyway? So yeah, they kick him in the face with a ball. He beats them all up. And then he beats the taxi driver makes a run for it. He beats him up and rubs his hat into his face.
It's because it's not polyester. He don't want it.
There's a quick telephone call to an angry pinstripe man.
It's the German.
Several names
angry German man with his tick list. I love him.
I must have missed that bit because he was holding this. What I thought was a checkbook for ages. Like in all the other scenes, he had this checkbook in his hand. I'm like, why? I must have missed that bit when he had like explained what that was for, because apparently it's a checklist of some kind. No.
Yeah, is it not? It's the tick list of all the people they're trying to get to the island, in it.
Right, okay, yeah. I genuinely no idea. I wondered what it was for, and it was never answered.
That's fantastic planning that is.
He's German though, so he's going to be very efficient, isn't he?
And who doesn't love a tick? Dom the Dragon's ear, tick.
Yeah.
I mean, this is this is a streak of two where we've had very bad German impersonations.
Oh yeah.
I know, but at least he looked like a sort of creepy German SS officer. You know what I mean? He had that.
He looked German. He wasn't just a bald man.
He had that sort of bless the little German man.
So he says to the cab driver, we think it's the cab driver anyway, that he wants, Jake and the cabbie dead, which kind of defeats the object because the whole idea is to spirit them away to this island. Anyway, Jake wanders into his dojo called Stronghold, and Chin Woo is there from the first one, but he's not Chin Woo anymore.
No, he's called something else now.
I didn't even bother to write it down.
No. There is a great bit where someone twats a medicine ball at someone else's head, which would probably legitimately kill you as well.
On the day.
Because medicine balls weight its own.
a sack starts up again at this point, revealing that Jake is a horny boy because he finds a woman squatting.
The worst kind.
Stretching.
Yeah, so that's the woman whose name escapes me at the moment. Mariella, I think her name is.
I just said woman.
So he
She's hot
finds
babe
her.
in all my notes. So
There you go.
Yes, I put down hot babe a lot, which is why I can't remember her name. And then he talks to a sweaty white man if he's seen Vinny, who he describes as a big black man with a big mouth, which I thought was a very strident way to make conversation with somebody.
It was the 90s. It was acceptable then.
He's talking, by the way, to Sal the Widowmaker Taylor. Oh, why do you call that, Mr. Widowmaker?
Because I eat big hot dogs. There's a hot dog called the Widowmaker, isn't there? It's like a foot-long hot dog.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be better if he was just a big fat dude who ate. That was his special power. Right.
Eat the opposition. Yeah.
No, he just can't be hurt because he's so gutty.
Absorbs all punches.
Yeah, he absorbs all. Well, he wouldn't have helped in this one anyway because he can't be killed by conventional methods.
And then, one of my favourite bits, as you've already mentioned, is that the man won't talk to him because he's not a fighter. So Jake goes to sort of turn away and then attacks his punch bag, which then flies off and incapacitates a man.
Yep.
It just hits him in the back of the head and then he falls forward and then just doesn't move.
It's fine.
Murder is
life is cheap in the Bloodfist universe.
Everyone just carries on like it happens all the time.
There's no dude smashing bricks into his face like there was in the last one.
So this man was in the ring, got hit by it, and his opponent then just wordlessly comes over and makes conversation and points towards Pinstripe's office. Clearly not that bothered that his mate's just dead.
No, it's fine.
Makes his life easier.
It's a cheap victory, isn't it? I'm counting it.
Jake introduces himself to Sal and also a fighter called John Jones because they clearly just ran out of names at that point.
But have you ever seen that list of I think it was Nintendo did a baseball game and they needed American sounding names and they're all called like Tony Sprocket and stuff like that. It's amazing. It's like Mike Wrench. It's just great.
So then Jake goes up to see Dieter, I think his name is.
Yeah, German.
Who I've put in as sort of like I've put him down quite a lot as Rainer Wolf because he just looks
non-union Rainer Wolf, yes.
And then he does the usual thing of just being evil. Says no joke, lots of trouble. Presses a goon button and loads of goons come in. I don't really know what he was expecting out of this.
Like straight out the gate. He's attacked him in a taxi. He's twatted him in the face with a football. He's made him murder someone for his edification outside. And now I want a goon button. That'd be good though, wouldn't it? You press that and people just come in and he's like, get me some chips. Yeah.
I was just thinking, instead of your establishing gong button, if you pressed it by mistake.
Oh no, I don't want to press that button. Yeah. There's fighting. Don legitimately punches a dude in the heart at this point. Like, stops his heart by punching it. Right, and I was like, that's not. Like,
considering he left kickboxing because he didn't want to kill people, and now he's just walking around.
Yeah, he's got a taste for it now, hasn't he?
But I wrote down
like exclusively kill people.
During this fight, we are 19 minutes into the film, and he's been basically fighting the whole way, apart from Boobs McGee. That's it. It's all just been one big fight. 19 minutes of kicking.
Mate, it's like 90 minutes of fighting all the way through.
True.
I don't think it ever lets up for longer than 5 minutes. I think the bit where they're on the boat is the shortest non-fighting bit.
And that is the weakest point because the dialogue is shite.
This is why Karate Magazine gave it 10 out of 10.
Chase scene follows. Jake runs outside and two goons with stick follow him. And also Hot Babe TM, Mariella, although she's not been introduced at this point. Jake goes down the local market past the meat shop from Bloodfist 1. Did anyone see it?
Yes.
Tip Top wasn't there, though.
No, I'm disappointed Tip Top didn't return. I've got you wearing denim? So am I. That was a good thing that happened. Oh, and then they fight near the docks or near some water. And the fight seems to consist. of Jake just pushing this guy over constantly. He pushes him over like 4 times in a row.
Just wants to push him in the river. That's all. That's his aspiration.
Oh, and he does, and I'm like, well, he may have survived the fight, but he's going to die of infection because that water looked nasty.
It did.
That's like
not a good part of town.
Yeah.
Actually, the part of town gets rougher and rougher, and she takes him to a giant tin shack, and she says that she's going to go and call a cab. So he decides to sort of investigate it, this factory building. But then he gets overrun by goons because obviously this woman isn't who she said she was. And there's no reason why he would have thought that she was who she said she was, because he just saw her squatting in a gym.
He's just very trusting.
Any woman. I've named, because all the guys from now on that are associated with Dieter and the tournament all have gold headbands on.
They do.
Which makes them look a little bit like Monkey from Monkey Magic as well, which made me happy. But I come up with various names for the gang. They could be the Headband Gang, obviously. They could be the Bandana Boys, the Do-Rag Dudes, or the Sweatband Squad. Those are the options that are available.
I'm loving the alliteration for that.
I know, that's what you got to do, isn't it? Or I was going to say the Monkey Men, but that's not right, is it?
Monkey Magic Men.
Yeah, I know, but that's hard to get on a t-shirt. Jake is then held and drugged, and Dieter goes, "Ooh, look at my big thumb."
That was weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at my thumb, Mr. Ray.
Who wants to see my big
purpose.
thumb?
It doesn't. I was looking at the thumb, expecting it to do something like having like a smiley face on it or something.
Or it was massive, like the hitches from the Mighty Boosh or something like that. No, I think it was just so they could do that pull focus camera move on it, but they didn't even do that. It just went out of focus and then he passed out.
That made me very angry at the time, clearly, because I've put falls asleep to chuckling. That thumb did nothing.
Oh, I think this is at the point where I couldn't cut the audio out because I just didn't have time, where he goes, "Fuck you, nerd."
Yeah, that was the bit I wanted.
I didn't have time to do it. I've been busy. I've got all the other noises from the Fatal Deviation if you want them still. I played them off. We wake up on a boat.
Yeah, a catamaran.
Yeah, which I didn't think you could get that many people on a catamaran.
No, it's got a hefty cargo hold.
I was going to say, yeah. There's
Hot Babe is piloting it.
Yeah, and there's like eight dudes in the hold, all ripped, all muscular, each a champion in their own particular unusual brand of kicking.
Each with their own stock phrases, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got like a karate guy. There's not a park ranger, an army ranger. A park ranger would have been
terrible. Amazing.
He's just get off the grass.
I think they got the wrong John Jones.
Yeah, but he's clearly modelled himself after Jesse Ventura in Predator because he's got a mustache and chewing tobacco. That was the only.
That's interesting that you should mention Predator. I don't think it's Predator that Dieter's in. Dieter? I can never go there. Yeah. We'll have to get to it in the trivia section, but he's in a lot of these sorts of films as a dweeb in the army.
As a German dude, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's like Hans in so many films, or Klaus.
He's got a German face. I don't mean that in a bad way. He just looks like a stereotypical bad German.
How would you sum up the mood in the hold with all the Americans that have been captured?
Oh,
jovial.
Yeah, it's like a big dick measuring contest.
For him, yeah.
They've all been told to come up with phrases on the theme of a party, because one of them says, "Oh, it must be a come as you are party," and then somebody says, "Welcome to the party," and then somebody says, "Whoever the host is, the invitation sucks," and they're all chuckling about this. And it's the most lackluster, non-kicking moment of this entire film.
That's what I'm saying. They should have at least kicked a hole in the catamaran or something. I reckon all been captured with that, they let them do their own lines.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
Okay, we're going to do a quick bit of improv, guys, and they're just used to getting kicked in the head, so that the brains are not like what you want.
Hot Babe delivers them a bucket of delicious liquid that we never see, and the men stare lecherously at her.
But every time we see Hot Babe, we have sexy jazz music in the background.
Yeah.
I was very focused on the music this time.
Okay, that's normally my favourite bit, but I just wasn't feeling this week, to be honest. because it was just basically a side-scrolling beat 'em up. This film.
Yeah, they've all been captured. It seems for some sort of high-stakes tournament organised by this person called Sue.
They arrive at the dock of this thing, where one of the headband gang, the Banana Boys,
Headbang gang,
have is like, we're going to have to unchain your feet to get you out of here, otherwise you're going to get damaged. So he does, and they're like, they all bring him out on the docks, and then it's announced this Sue guy arrives in a car that has a different license plate each time we see it, because it was PED 888 when it pulls up, and when it pulls away, it's something different. But he says it's going to be gladiator fighting. And I was like, I hope they invoke the ancient ways.
Yeah, that's never really picked up on again. It's a bit weird, that. He criticises the goon that undid the leg chains.
Yes, he said, who did this? And he was like, I did.
He says it's a very foolish move. But it's not, though, because I was thinking it's going to be hell to get them off the boat with the legs in chains. And if one of them falls in, it's like a string of sausages falling into the water.
One of them falls in the water. They're all falling in the water. And then all of your fighting men are dead. So he literally pulls a knife out and just stabs the dude in the throat.
Yeah,
and everyone's
he stabs
like,
him in the forehead first, I think.
Oh, he slashes him through the forehead. And yeah. And everyone's just like, well, more pension money for us then, I guess.
And then he says, I'm glad we see eye to eye. So why didn't he stab him in the eye then?
I mean,
just
you can't think of a pun quickly about throats. It's difficult, you know what I mean? You should have spoken to me first. It's not great, is it? But I can workshop it, but I've just stabbed a dude, you know what I mean? And we're introduced to all these men, and I did write their names down. John Jones. I didn't write down what they did, though, sadly, because it was going too fast. Manny Rivella, Bobby Rose, Ernest Santana. I think I wrote Tubbs Taylor, but that might just be, I'm just making them up at this point.
Tobo Castanera.
Tobo Castanera and Sol Taylor, who was the bouncer at the Pussycat Club. So that's a bit of fun, isn't it?
It's a bit, yeah, he's the odd one out of the group.
I think he's the wrestling guy who isn't a fighter.
Bobby Rose is the US Ranger, park ranger, who has very dark, viscous spit.
He's got chewing, that's why, yeah.
I know. Ernest Santana is the Greco-Roman wrestling champion.
He's the...
What's that?
Greco-Roman wrestling is like American collegiate wrestling.
Is it?
It's not like WWE. No, it's in like a school gym.
And shit. It's not Greco-Roman, is it?
No, but it's not like sports entertainment wrestling. It's not WWE wrestling. It's actual holds and it's kicking. It's no kicking allowed. It's all about. It's sort of like judo-y, but not.
If it's not in the pages of muscular development, I'm not reading it.
Like Danny does it in Greece when he tries out for track. He does some wrestling there with the guy. He gets on all fours. The guy gets behind him and flips him over, and then that's the pin. It is a proper thing. They go big for it in America because it's a sport.
Okay, fair enough. That's my ignorance addressed.
No, it's fine. We all have we're all bring different skills to this. But,
I've never heard of it. Then there's some futuristic terror music, a la The Simpsons, when Sal Taylor attacked everyone after being introduced, and there's a lot of kicking involved.
All the bandana boys come in with their rubber sticks and just start whomping them, but because they haven't chained their legs back together, kicking is on the table.
Kick.
So Jake jumps away into the water, and Sue, the mastermind behind the island, sends Dieter after him. He just tells him to go into the water and get him.
I laughed at that bit where Dieter's like, whoa, and then just falls in. I thought that was
good comedy.
A pretty good pratfall, yeah.
Holding his nose, yeah, and then sort of flails when he's in there. Yeah, with his checkbook held in the air,
yeah. Sue fires a gun in the air and screams, "Silence!" Yeah. He puts them all into the beige van of justice to transport them to his combat arena.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Jake surfaces on a buoy out at sea. And I wrote, how?
Yeah, because I'm thinking, if you haven't got any arms, like, can you just swim with your legs?
He must have done.
You can on your back, can't you?
Propelled himself like a torpedo.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, he's going like that, like a mermaid.
He kicked his way out of the situation.
In swimming lessons, they make you put your arms by your side and kick your legs on your back.
Right. Okay. So it is doable then.
It is doable,
Right.
but I'm not sure about in the ocean you could do that. You'd be knackered.
Well, he gets a fair way out because buoys are like a distance out, aren't they? Normally.
Well, he ends up on the rock.
He ends up on some rocks. Well, he makes a load of the headband gang jump in, and they look a little bit like penguins when they did it, which made me laugh.
Because they're clueless, aren't they? These goons.
Like
They hide
lemmings.
the most.
Yeah, well, they just
Yeah.
follow.
There's tons of them. It cuts to this long driving sequence of the prisoners being taken to the mansion, which has 2 mansion houses, a covered walkway, which is very sort of considerate, a
Helicopter
helipad,
pad.
and it must have, and I wrote this, a HR department, because there are just tons of these goons everywhere.
There'll be a
All flying
walk-in
around.
wardrobe of red pajamas as well. And
Yeah,
bandanas.
you got headband, sir? Headband, sir? Headband, sir? Yeah.
They never get mixed up with the clothes, would they? Really?
Jake gets on this rock, decides to smash iron with just rock. So he must be Irish.
Must
The
be,
Irish
must
boy.
have
He must have some
Irish blood.
Irish in him, yeah.
I got that.
I've just got what the fuck is going on at this point? Because
Oh, I thought we were in for a raping at this point.
Oh, yeah, this was the bit I was like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
What is this?
Very weird.
Hot,
He
Hot
ripped,
Babe
yeah.
is talking
Sue's
to
displeased with Hot
with
Babe.
Hot Babe because Jake got away. And so he's like, oh, you'll have to learn loyalty.
Yeah, and then he rips her dress. And
Rip
I
her
thought,
dress
oh,
off,
God,
and I'm
here
like,
we
oh,
go.
they're not all going to run a train on her or something, are they? And I thought, oh, we're not doing that in like Bloodfist 2. No, they just
No.
whip her.
He just whipped, yeah, for a good
Oh,
while.
right, okay.
But
Yeah,
as we find out
weird.
later on, that's his daughter, and he sort of stood there watching it with a big smile on his face, which is not right, is it? That's not.
That's
There
fine
again, you've
then.
kidnapped, you know,
Uh,
8
yeah.
of the world's best fighters, and you don't think anyone's going to come looking for them. So
I was concentrating on the fact that they were in the same office that Vinny rang from earlier. He rang Jake from this place because there's tons of atlases in the background. It's the Atlas room.
the Atlas.
That's where they keep all the atlases.
It's
How
big
you,
In the
find,
mansion.
Atlas room.
how you find the island? Yeah.
Big mansion,
Yeah,
you got to
fair.
fill them rooms with summer.
But also, this is that Vinny set him up. You see, isn't it? This is what we learn.
It's a bit clueless as well because Hot Babe was the single sole reason that Jake managed to get onto the island, without which they say that there would be no contest. And virtually everybody else hindered in some way. But because of her kind words, which is too kind, she gets pasted with a riding crop.
Yeah. Didn't care for that.
Yeah.
Don't need to see that in my film. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not in a karate film. I don't need to see a woman getting whipped. I don't need to see that in any film, really. Remember that time I downloaded Harry Potter for Mum off the internet, and it turns out it was 2 women in cat masks whipping each other, and I was like, "This isn't what I asked for."
Did she enjoy it anyway?
That's why I always check stuff now before I give it to people, because that would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it? Huh? Put that on a DVD. There you go, Mum. Watch Harry Potter. Oh, it's not what I expected. I thought there'd be more wizards in it.
Not what I expected. It cuts then to nighttime sneakies with Jake Ray, who's now unchained, and he's ripped his blue Oxford shirt, so that's never coming back again. And he takes the piss out of a goon by walking very slowly behind him.
Yeah.
It's ninja level stuff that he's
With
doing
light
there.
jazz in the background. Yeah.
The jazz
Sneaking.
throughout.
He eventually nicks Goon's clothing. It took him a long time to do that. It would have made his progress a lot simpler if he'd just done that to the first
You've
Goon.
got to find one that's the
He
right
doesn't
size.
take his headband.
No.
He takes his
Which-
pajamas, but he doesn't take his headband, which is foiled his plan, that, didn't it?
That's the name badge of these goons, is your headband. Like, oh, you're right, Kenny. Yeah.
But, yeah, it doesn't seem to get him much traction because whenever anyone tries to fool anybody else in this with either what they're wearing or how they're going about stuff, it never works. But anyway, there's a party going on, hence the light jazz, and Sue is introducing Farouk, an arms dealer, to Patricia, a casino magnate, for no reason at all. What are they going to talk about?
Do you want to buy some arms? No. Do you want to have a go on me roulette? No.
Good day to you.
I said good day. I think it was to show that these are powerful and influential people that he's invited to this island for this tournament of death. Which, again, when it actually comes to the tournament of death, it looks like a bring and buy sale. Everyone looks like they're waiting for Sunday school. Everyone just looks bored.
Yeah.
They're all in like Quinset and pearls. It's very...
Sue explains as well that these red goons have nothing they're sort of brought up knowing only him and his riding crop ways. And they love him. Love him, them goons, even though they can't. They don't have much going for them anyway, and most of them are going to be dead in about 20 minutes. So Jake goes down the corridor of Kwong art. Did anybody catch any of the art in this film?
No, I'm sure you did.
There's a sculpture that is variously, from different angles, it's different things. So from one side, it's a sculpture of a post box. And then from another angle, it looks like a grim octopus.
Okay.
There's also a painting of a pumpkin face and a worm. And then finally, at the end, a large painting of a grumpy scorpion.
Oh, I'd like to see the grumpy scorpion.
And this is where Sue, who is Kwong from the first one, but just the same actor in a different role. I like to think that he didn't die and he's now in this role, just collecting art that
he's doing his own art.
Making art, his own stuff, because there's so much of it.
That's what he does. He runs illegal death tournaments and just does like sculptures and watercolors.
Illegal pottery classes.
Yeah. You want to make an octopus / mailbox? Right? Get you on the Great British Pottery Throwdown, mate. One's illegal pottery jamboree.
What does Jake discover when he goes down that corridor?
I don't know. All I've got is the next bit is where they're giving him all that 5-hour energy stuff.
Oh, right. So it's sort of similar. There's they introduce the bodybuilders. They're almost like grunting like Victorian bodybuilders. And
my huge triangular weights.
They don't hear him battering assailants in the corridor, by the way, because his red gown doesn't work anyway. And it turns out they're injecting these goons. Actually, I've called them the bodybuilders to separate them from the goons because they're slightly more
I had muscle men, but yeah, okay.
Muscle.
I'm a muscle man. Yeah.
Jake walks
up. They
up.
gave him a drink. They gave him like what I thought were like them little Red Bull energy shot things. And that's why they can't feel pain because they're all razzed to fuck. Yeah.
All that taurine. Yeah. Jake walks upstairs to the Atlas room in the meantime, where there's some decorative twigs and some ceramic geese, I've noted.
Nice. Cheeky geek.
And Jake finds Hot Babe. What does he do then?
Oh, all these women's clothes come off very easily in this film, I've noticed. Yeah, they have a snog.
He's got a very short-term memory, because like an hour ago, she was trying to kill him.
Listen, when the horn takes you.
Well, it's a bit fighty and a bit erotic at the same time. He digs into her ribs to interrogate her, though, which I thought was very childish. And he learns that the American prisoners, are in the holding pen in the basement, and that the island is called Paradise. She then elbows him in the face and struggles. And Jake notices that she's got wounds, and she admits that Sue groomed her. In fact, I thought that was incredibly dark. But I think what they meant was just like the goons have been brought up only knowing Sue. She's the same. It turns out, though, as you said before, that she's his daughter. That doesn't make it much better.
No. Yeah, they're having a thingy. Peter is running around with a giant walkie-talkie.
Hello?
Yeah, I was like, how are you carrying that with you? It's huge. And Jake's top comes off fully at this point as well.
I didn't note that, but okay.
Now,
he's got wounds of his own from his girlfriend. They spy on Dito, who's singing a little song in the lab.
The lab that they have there that also has swords in it later on.
Oh yeah, it's where they keep
swords and chemicals. It's
Where else would you keep your swords? In the sword room.
In the Atlas room. You can stab some old atlases that aren't accurate anymore.
You can't damage the books.
They say that California's a peninsula, stuff like that, and stab them. Yeah.
I did note down Dieter's little song, but it doesn't make much sense. And there's a lot of, as you know, I don't say, and stuff like that from Fatal Deviation, the last film we watched, with the really poor German accent. He grabs a briefcase and he goes back into an executive style meeting where they're all sat around a table, and Sue does a bit about rigging things and introduces this steroid that they've produced which is both powerful and undetectable, which is also written on my CV.
That's my rap duo name, that. Yeah, so you give them all this steroidy shit, and then the fighting starts. Because this is enough plot for now.
Yeah, so the broad idea is sound. They brought all the best fighters from across the world somehow to Manila.
Legitimately murdered by the muscle men.
Yeah.
For reasons unbeknownst to themselves.
It's like Rat Race, I think, where they're betting. Just a load of rich people have got nothing better to do, so they think, what can we bet on? Let's bet on this.
Oh, I actually got, it's sort of like that bit in The Purge, yeah, where they're taking poor people and executing them, yeah.
I think the whole idea of like a fight island is Enter the Dragon, isn't it?
Yes, but at least that makes sense in that thing, because that's like the best fighters coming to fight. This is the best fighters coming fighting the muscle men who are roided up messes and can't feel pain.
This is the 80s and the introduction of drugs, and it's all
drugs are bad, yeah.
I think I wrote that down at some point. Drugs are bad.
So they've got electro cattle prods as well, which I liked.
Yes.
Always a fan of a cattle prod. I don't know why. Fighting. There's a lot of fighting goes on. Does the park ranger get his arm broke?
Yeah. So there's a bit of sneaking around as well. So Jake and Hot Babe obviously want to bang. I don't think they actually do, but they take out the frustration by kicking people and going down to the American fighters who do their best acting, such as "I wonder what that might be," etc. Then there's more Kwong art of a Japanese man squatting, and Jake attacks three goons, with lots of stick action.
Oh, he does. He gets a stick off one of them.
Dita into a pulp.
Yeah, she does. But Dita then manages to escape and run off. All the fighting men are fighting. One of them tries to climb up the thing and gets pierced on a spike.
Yeah, there's also one of the probably the second weirdest scene of the film. Jake sees Sue at the end of a corridor and shouts, "You bastard!" and runs towards him, even though Hot Babe says, "No, don't, it's obviously a trap." And then a plank comes around the corner of the wall and hits him in the face. And Hot Babe just legs it at that point. Because
she's had enough. She's like, "I did warn you, that's the plank corridor. We've been to the Atlas room."
And then there's an establishing gong. And Jake is dragged into a big room with guests, and Sue goes on about, there's a raptor pit here. We're going to pit them together, and they're all going to die. There's the electric cattle prod man and a skewer man as well. And the first up is John Jones versus Chin Woo 2.0 from the first one. Don't know what his name is, but he was the one that killed people all the time.
He was a big lad, yeah. I think stamps on his head again, doesn't he?
See, I thought that was how he was going to kill people, but actually it all waits for the man with the spear. So Sue does a big thing of like
thumbs up. Look at my big thumb, big thumb down.
Big thumb. Ooh, where's it going? There's just a man on standby with a spear who's credited as Javelin Guard, which is great.
That's good, isn't it?
It's good.
No, but I'm sure at one point, like when he defeats John Jonah Jameson or whatever he's called, I'm sure he like literally stamps on his head. But then later on, we see him when they're escaping, so he doesn't kill him. He just has now got
there's a bit of that as well,
like concussion or something.
Yeah, bit of a headache.
Then it's Bobby Rose, who I've put down as Freddie Mercury, versus Tashman, or variously Saddam Hussein, and he's the one who gets his arm broken 3 times, and then he just starts moving on to other limbs as well.
Yeah, well, that's how you do it, isn't it? Cripple him so they can.
You see Bobby Rose later on just sort of limping off, holding his arm.
He's got his arm in a sling, but he's still doing kicking. Because they didn't cripple his legs, did they? No, just one arm. One arm's still good for punching, and you can never stop my feet of fury.
The crowd let him live for some reason, despite being effectively, he's been made into a paraplegic.
He's not it's only been broken.
And I don't know, the crowd obviously are psychopaths and just.
Well, this is where I've got all the crowd like they've come for a church fete.
Meanwhile, Hot Babe is beating up some goons in the Atlas room, so she's still on the run. And then it's back to the fighting.
Oh, is this when Is this when Jake goes in? Does Jake get the illegal bendy pipe?
Yeah.
Or is that someone else?
He does lots of kicking and running in circles.
That's it.
There's Turbo. Turbo goes into the room, and he breaks off a bit of the stadium to fight.
Yeah, that's the bit. Yeah, and he goes with it, and then
just Skewerman gets
swatted. Yeah. No illegal pipe usage in this tournament, thank you. Javelin guard says no. But yeah, I was like, I don't understand the point of this then, because if he's just straight up murdering these people, what's the end game of it?
Yeah, that was kind of my concern as well. They've essentially just got Sir Lancelot from Robot Wars there.
Just to see if you're better than steroid muscle men, innit?
Unless he was planning on selling the steroids to the rich people.
Whatever they'd need it for, hardcore.
Well, one of them was an arms dealer. Okay. One of them was an arms dealer, and one of them was a carousel. Casino. Yeah, it's a different thing entirely. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to say the fighting is the plot behind it is inconsequential. It's just the kicking that we're here for at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Sal versus who I've dubbed Mr. Kicky because I didn't take down any names. Jake realizes that the fighters don't feel pain.
Yeah.
And tells him this, but neither of them act on it and just continue kicking as normal.
I don't know how you're supposed to. What would you do if you can't feel pain? How are you supposed to incapacitate them?
Yeah, because I thought, oh, right, so they're going to use their heads and not attack him head on, try and do something different. But no, and Sal ends up winning anyway.
Out or something, I guess, but yeah.
Oh, so you're on steroids? Well, I'm just going to defeat you anyway.
I don't know what the antidote for steroids is. Bananas, I've no fucking clue, mate. I don't know what if you have too much steroids, what you do to get rid of it.
Chocolate cake.
Sunny Delight, yeah. Gone.
Hot Babe, meanwhile, is rooting through her drawers until she finds keys and a picture of her. She finds some keys and a picture of her as a young girl with Sue, and she sort of has. I think Dieter's already said that she's his daughter.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then there's another fighter goes into the ring versus.
This is the Greco-Romo wrestling guy.
Right. Okay. He's up versus the Tubster.
Yes.
Fighting head on. Anyway, my favorite soundbite of the whole film, my favorite dialogue actually, is at this point where a corporate man from the galley shouts, "Son of a bitch, motherfucker!" for no reason.
He's great. I think they just went around and anyone got anything to say in the crowd? Right, okay. Everyone gets one. Yeah. This move that this dude doing is not Roman. He's not wrestling at all. I'm fairly sure he just punches this guy in the nuts quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick you in the nuts.
Which, I mean, if he can't feel pain, kicking him in the stones isn't going to do anything, is it?
Well, it makes the investors look very suspicious and nervous in the stands. It's clearly not going very well. It's I don't understand what's going on at all because the steroids clearly don't work then.
I don't understand what the plot of this is beyond let's have a fighting tournament.
Once you're aware of the steroids,
Fatal Deviation had an outcome at the end of it. There seems to be no end game to it. It seems to be let's just make them fight and then possibly let them live or die. What, are you going to set them free afterwards? Are you going to make them keep fighting until they die, until they don't impress you? Sort it out, Sue. Also, get a boy's name.
Dieter then finds Hot Babe, who is escaping at a very gentle pace. He tells her,
"You want to get a glow."
Well, I don't know because she's grabbed the keys. She obviously thinks Jake is going to die. So yeah, get gone. I think she's got the keys to the helicopter. The helicopters have keys. Presumably they do. I've never tried to operate one before.
No, I'm assuming it's not like a beep beep. But, yeah, I think you have to have some sort of ignition sequence to it. It might just be a button. I don't know, but yeah.
If anyone out there knows how to
operate a helicopter, please let us know. Do they need keys? Do you need to put two keys in and both of you turn them at the same time?
See, this is like that waitress that place we went to that time who said that they just had like a key to a jet. I was like, do they have keys though?
Oh, but she was fucking mental, mate. She showed us pictures of her ass. Well, she showed my wife and your missus pictures of her ass. And I went, I just wanted some food. I didn't need to see this. That was such a bizarre evening.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that later. But it was a very, very strange. Went for Cambodian food, and I think it was her first night.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have been waitressing. She shouldn't have been allowed out into the community, to be honest.
Aw.
She was plastered as well.
She was led. She was clearly sneaking drinks from behind the bar, and was Well, at one point, she poured wine on the table, just missed the glass, tipped it all over the table, and just walked. I was like, "Can I get a towel and some more wine?" She just. Yeah.
Anyway, Dieter reminds Hot Babe that
Here's
she
a
has
picture
no
of a
life.
Right.
No life besides Sue, and he pulls a gun out a bit dramatically and tells us to go watch Jake get his head stoved in.
Yep.
And I thought he only really seems to be happy when he's holding the gun, and I've put happy but sweaty.
Yeah, well, that's also me.
The one.
That's also on my CV.
That's also... Jake's now fighting in the death arena. He does a pretty good, weird standing backflip kick thing, which I was genuinely impressed by, because it looked a bit like Guile from Street Fighter. But again, he's learned as well. He's learned from the wrestling man, punch him in the nuts, because he just punches Coolies left, right, and centre. He's pod shotting him up and down. Yeah.
Maybe the steroids don't go to the bollocks.
Well, I thought steroids make your balls shrink up, don't they?
But maybe,
Okay,
maybe it really hurts them when you get hit in them because they're really tight and shrunken.
If anyone out there has had their balls
No, I don't have
shrunk up by
bollocks.
steroids, please do write in.
Yeah, these are the things we need to know.
Or sing a soprano note to us.
I genuinely don't know whether they descend if you stop doing it or whatever. I don't know.
There's a fighter I call Bitey Boy because he bites somebody's arm.
He does bite someone's arm. Jake gets the electric stun baton, flips a guy down, holds him down with his leg, and electrocutes him. And I'm like, you'd get electrocuted as well, surely. That's how electric works.
No, because he's well hard, isn't he? So
But in films where they go clear, you have to take your hands off the body before they pachung it, don't you? Technical term, that pachunging. Yeah, you can't. He either got electrocuted as well, or it would have halved the voltage and it wouldn't have been as dangerous.
you're questioning that when none of this film is making sense.
No, I want some internal consistencies.
Yeah, Sue orders him killed, which will prove absolutely nothing to the people around the place.
Thumbs
and then
down.
Vinny jumps down to beat him up with the help of 7 people. So that's obviously not going to prove anything either.
Nope. Again, it doesn't matter. I think it's because it's all gone wrong. After the plank, the plank will take him out. That didn't work. I'm out of ideas then, says Sue.
And Hot Babe incapacitates guards, meanwhile, by walking up to within an inch of their faces and then dropping barbells on their feet, which is a tactic.
There's a lot of gym-based crime in this, isn't there? With the punching bag and the medicine ball and all that sort of jazz.
You got to work on your muscles while you're murdering.
Murderizer in. Thingy breaks free. They have a fight in the chemical and sword room, which we've already seen from earlier. Peter is escaping, but some of the fighters are chasing him, throwing sticks at him. Yeah, but it's the throwing sticks at the German Olympics. Yeah, they do it about 4 times. None of them hit him.
Well, because they're made of rubber.
Oh, when they're fighting in the chemical room, though, Jake throws a table at him that bends as it hits.
Well, I've put that it's the first of a series of increasingly desperate items that he uses as weapons.
He's throwing at each other.
Starts off with a katana that he keeps stowed away in the lab for some reason. I don't know, maybe they grew it from a test tube. And there's chaos going on everywhere. The corporate world is exeunt. Everyone has a go on the electric cattle prod and the skewer because it looks fun. And Jake and Hot Babe then share a moment in amongst all the madness. And Jake says, "I'm going after Sue." And Hot Babe says, "There's something I need to tell you. He's my father." And then Jake says, "What? Tell me what to do." Yep. Hot Babe says, "He must be stopped." And Jake says, "Meet me outside." And there's just a series of sentences that aren't really connected.
No. Yeah, she goes downstairs where the rest of the people are, the rest of the fighters are. Sue attacks Jake again, who punches him off the balcony while his daughter watches.
Does he not throw a wicker chair at him first?
Or a vase. There's a lot of vase
so
throwing.
there's an increasingly desperate fight scene. I just want to point out that in the laboratory, there's a blackboard in the background that says Cu, copper, Fe, iron, Ni, nickel. And I thought, this research is in its very early stages. I mean, did they just give the bodybuilders iron supplements? That's what.
Possibly that and liquidized Atlas.
Yeah, there's a very long and there's a dramatic goon falling from a great height.
Oh, he does do it. He does a Wilhelm scream, doesn't he? Yeah, as he goes down.
That made me
During all this fighting, though, does Jake keep changing the colour of his trousers?
I didn't notice. I wouldn't put it past him. Because it looks like it was
he's
shot
either-
over several days.
He's either changing his kecks, or there's two blokes who look very similar.
Stunt double.
Making up for lost time, really, because he didn't change anything in the first film. Now he's got to constantly change his appearance.
Every new room he goes to, I'll have them pants next.
Yeah, Sue.
He took the idea from the kickboxing guy at the start with kickboxing. Sword room pants, wicker chair pants.
Sue manages to get a chrome pipe at one point, which may not have been the same one as Bloodfist 1, where it makes an appearance. And then Dieter makes a run for the chopper as well. Did anybody see this scene?
The park ranger shoots him, doesn't he?
Well, it's all a bit odd because he throws a stick at him, which pops him on the head, and then grabs his pistol. And then Dieter clearly then just forgets how guns work, because he just sort of flashes him with a smile and tries to get into the chopper anyway, then gets shot. And Bobby Rose says, "Over and out," which doesn't make sense. Anyway.
He's a army sergeant or something, isn't he?
A pun would have worked.
I'm trying to find logic.
It's the chop for you. That would have worked. Sue,
no littering.
Then, it cuts back to Sue, who's got a floor lamp and is wielding.
Throwing all manner of ornaments.
Jake, anyway,
pottery whale.
Jake
Trey
pushes aside all of this stuff. What happens next?
Does he not just boot him out the window?
Boots him off a veranda to where Hot Babe is watching, like Julia.
No, I put genuinely, it would have been funnier if he'd have landed on her.
She shouts up, "Father!" He pulls out a dagger, which is why Jake kicks him off the ledge. And the third weirdest scene in this film is her watching his progress from the top to the bottom.
Yep.
Because the camera actually goes down below her, and it's still sort of like pointing up at her, and it's just very odd. It's very odd camera work.
It is a weird thing, and then they all just go home. It just
just stand around and go, "Oh, your dad's dead. Let's go in the helicopter."
The Avengers assemble around Bobby. Jake and Hot Babe embrace and clearly don't know how to talk about what's just happened.
No, it's going to be hard, isn't it, at Christmas. It's like, remember when you killed my dad by punching him off that window?
And that is it. There's no closure to that.
No, it just ends. That's it. Fin. Not even fin, just credits.
Fin.
It would be, wouldn't it, anyway, wouldn't it, if it was anything. Out of the 5 Fabios, what are we giving Bloodfist 2?
See, I think that I gave the original Bloodfist 3.
Were we doing Fabios in the original Bloodfist?
No, we weren't doing Fabios, but me and James were quite harsh with the original Bloodfist.
I know, yeah.
Retconning your Bloodfists now.
Yeah, it's way better than this Bloodfist.
Okay, it's a bone of contention.
I don't know.
There was too much blood fisting in this one. Oh no!
Phrase that, please.
No,
yeah, thank you.
Please write that as a review.
2 stars, 2 Fabios, too much blood fist.
Press your button.
I think I'm going to have to give it 2 Fabios. It's not 1 Fabio by any means, but it's not a 3 Fabio.
Okay. I was contemplating, if you don't want to give it golden Fabios, we can do silver and bronze Fabios as well.
5 bronze Fabios.
5 bronze Fabios.
Oh, can I do it in nickel?
I was going to say nickel.
You can do CU copper.
I'll have 2 FEs.
It's Olympic medal thingies. So 5 bronze, which is
Let me get my periodic table down. 2 hydrogen.
look. It has to be a stable atom, right?
I'm fairly sure that hydrogen is number 1.
Yes, it is. Noble gases only. We're having. So 5 bronze is the equivalent of like 3 out of 10. We'll say 5 out of 15 in it. So yeah. So 5 bronze for James. Introducing new and confusing scoring schemes.
There's too many Fabios. Too many
Bronze
Fabio
Fabios,
variants.
silver Fabios, gold Fabios, and then one day, if we ever find it, 1 diamond Fabio.
Yeah, 5 bronze Fabios.
Okay. I'm going to go 2 silver Fabios. Because
Oh.
I quite like the fighting in it.
No, too much fighting. I
There
even
was a
wrote
lot
at one
of fighting.
point, I grow weary of fighting now.
But I thought the fighting was better in this one than it was in the first one. Although the story in the first one made more sense than this one. Because the story in this was never existent, wasn't it? Yeah.
So this was 1990, and this was the year that also saw the release of Ghost, Home Alone, Dances with Wolves, Total Recall, Back to the Future Part 3, Die Hard 2, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Kindergarten Cop, obviously. Should have started the list with that.
That's a great film.
Yeah.
It had a budget of
12 pence.
it had quite
Spent all
a
that
hefty
headbands,
budget.
mate.
Considering all of their success with the last Bloodfist film, they now had $1,292,323 to spend on this,
Really
which
precise there.
equates to over $2.5 million today, or nearly £2 million today.
That's quite a lot.
That's quite a lot. Where not much was really that wasn't translated into art, was it? By any means?
No. I mean, did they make the money back?
I wasn't able to determine that. I think they did, because a lot of the statistics of Bloodfist 1 gets rolled into Bloodfist 2 as well.
Yeah.
And I think they were still riding that kind of martial arts
Gravy
train. For just under £2 million, you can get 10.6 tickets into space if Virgin Galactic ever managed that. And then that gave me the idea of podcasting in space, because although we don't really need 10.6 tickets, if we throw that money at them, they could probably let us just podcast up there.
Yeah, but Richard Branson will be there, won't he? Kind of touch me.
Ripping your shirt.
No, I want no part of that.
I also thought, 6 jetpacks as well for you and your goons. They're about.
Now, when you say jetpacks, do you mean actual jetpacks, or those ones with the big
not
weird fans on the side?
Fancy water ones that would only be useful in Waterworld. Estimated, because they've not come out commercially yet, but it's thought that you could get them for about £319,000 each. So that's where the 6-figure comes in. Or alternatively, and I thought you'd much prefer this, you and your many goons, provided you have a HR department that could facilitate this, could stock themselves with 24,969 electric cattle prods. That's based on something called the Hot Shot Prodder with Flexi Shaft.
Are you sure that's a cattle prod and not a website you've been on there? Flexi Shaft especially sounds rude.
It's effective on all types of animals, even wet, and it's an excellent tool.
Right, I'm going to go and let you give me some fucking turtles. Take that,
77 quid each.
How much?
77 quid each, which is a bargain.
I'm kind of,
So it did have a theatrical opening in 92 theatres in 1990, and at the point of release for the theatrical opening, it made $267,000 back. So on the surface of it, it's a flop, but it's made for that.
it's cool.
VHS release, isn't it?
It made $276 on its opening weekend. That would have been a failure, yeah.
Yeah.
Don the Dragon and his family going to watch it.
It was directed by Andy Blumenthal, the only directing credit that he's ever had because what he crafted was so perfect.
That's it.
Is what I
Don't
would
need to
go
do
with
anymore.
it.
Bloodfist 2 is my legacy to this world. Goodbye.
It had Michael Ferris as its writer, and you might say, what? It had a writer? This man has written literally everything.
Yeah.
Episode of Married with Children, episodes of Hey Arnold, Rugrats, The Game in 1997, Terminator 3, and Terminator Salvation, and 2 Simpsons episodes. But Simpsons episodes from 2018. So. Yeah.
Also, I like the fact he's called Michael Ferris, which sounds a bit like Michael Ferris, like iron that you'd get on a chocolate.
And the other writer, it was co-written by Catherine Siren.
Co-written? It took 2 people to write.
I was going to say,
Kick in a corridor.
writing in this film.
Kick in a corridor. Kick on a crash mat. Prod.
prod. She graduated from Harvard, right? She created this. She wrote this. Graduated from Harvard. Worked for the Royal Shakespeare Company. Had what is described as a stint at Stanford Business School, all before becoming a Hallmark director. She directed Christmas with the Darlings, 2020. There's a Christmas film for you to watch.
Yeah, boy.
Homecoming for the Holidays, which is 2019, seems to be about army trooper coming back home.
Don't want to get involved in that.
No. She also worked with Juan Mas, who's the other Hallmark director who did Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, he
and
did.
then went on to Bloodfist 1. They both collaborated on the Slumber Party Massacre 3 in 1990. So all of this has come so full circle.
It's like one mass that's got about, which is Spanish for one mass. Yeah. Wow. I also think she worked for the Royal Shakespeare Company, and she's like, you know what Hamlet needs? More kicking. Right.
I want you to say,
kicking.
Son of a bitch, motherfucker.
Is this the dagger I see before me? Son of a bitch.
Fuck you, nerd.
Jake Ray obviously was portrayed by Don the Dragon Wilson. In 2019, he said, I produced a DVD called The Dragon Way, where I go into a lot of how I've trained for fighting and lifestyle. I go into a lot deeper than that. I changed my diet, and I'm now, and a lot of my lifestyle when I was 45, and since then I've been in better shape than I was back then. I like to think of it that our consciousness in our bodies is like a radio wave that was here before your body existed and will be here after it's gone.
Okay.
And if your body isn't functioning at its full potential, you're not experiencing life in 3 dimensions.
He's a vegan now then, isn't he?
It is, yeah. I'm going to say he's selling some magical fucking kelp pellets or something, isn't he? Yeah.
He's the Noel Edmonds of the martial arts world.
No,
don't say that lightly.
Don the Dragon Wilson, influencer.
Oh man, I'd watch Deal or No Deal if Don the Dragon was on it. He kicks all the boxes open.
Noel's like, stop it!
Sue was played by Joe Maria Benallet. We talked about him a lot. He was Kwong in the last one. He's no longer alive, sadly. Performed in so many Filipino B movies. It just fantastic. Vinny was Maurice Smith, a professional kickboxer, and Bloodfist never appears on his Wikipedia page at all. It's not there.
Oh, his secret shame.
Mariella was Hot Babe, played by Rena Reyes. She's 50. Oh no, she has 57 acting credits that go all the way up to 2018, and her first film was in 1984 and was called Baguette 2.
Yes.
Wait. Did you say baguette or baguette, as in the French?
Baguettes. Boulangerie.
Baguette 2.
I haven't seen Baguette. Will I understand the plot of Baguette 2 if I haven't seen Baguette?
D2 was played by Robert Marius, who sadly passed away in 2008. He had 34 acting credits in all the films that you want to see. Yeah, it was just in so much stuff. And
Jump on that.
It's worth just looking at that because I think there are so many that I couldn't even list them. They're just like all over the place. Tobo Castanera was Monsieur del Rosario, and he appears in Bloodfist 2050, as well as
the reboot.
Chinatown 2, The Vigilantes, Lethal Combat, 1999, and something called Zydo, Space Sheriff, which was a made-for-TV thing in 2007.
I quite like the sound of Space Sheriff.
I love the sound of that.
Yeah, I hope it looks like Cowboy Bebop, but shitter.
But there we have it. Yeah, that's James Facts. Done.
Reviews today are a happiness sandwich. So we've got a 5 out of 5, sandwiching a little 1.5 out of 5. So this is by Ian C. in 2013. The Empire Strikes Back, The Godfather Part 2, and The Evil Dead 2 are just a few of a short list of films that sees a sequel better than the original.
Oh, Ian.
Bloodfist 2 is also one of them rare flicks that eclipses the original. Jake Ray is back, and this time he is tricked into coming to the Far East to help out his former trainer. Upon arrival, it is evident that he has been set up, and it's not long before he is kidnapped with all the finest martial artists known to man and shipped off to this mysterious island, where they are held like gladiators in ancient Rome and forced to fight some drugged-up fighters who inject a steroid that makes them immune to pain. All this has no full stops.
Oh, so it's like word salad. Great, right. I was saying you're doing very well then.
Yeah.
Woo. Right, where are we up to? Right, the evil mastermind behind this scheme must have invested all his money in the island and his arena, as his private army consists of just one firearm. Which is true, because the German only has one gun.
Point.
Yeah.
You don't need. Why would you need a gun when you've got karate on your side?
But he hasn't got. He's got steroids on his side.
Oh, them guns were pretty handy at karate. They were all like basic karate men. I mean, I would have had more guns myself personally, but it shows you haven't got faith in your goons. If you have to get them guns, he got them prods. He got them flexible shaft prods.
And it's the smallest gun ever.
And they all had sticks or wobbly batons as well. So he wasn't giving them like weapons to use.
I imagine the wobbly sticks. You know, when you do stick and you have to pick whoever gets the shortest one has to do the deed or whatever. And they all like, who's got the wobbly one? Oh, it's me.
I'll go
It's
and
all
hit
of
James.
us. Oh no, clearly all the money went on personnel rather than equipment.
Really never played like Age of Empires or anything. It's like, oh, build your army up, but you can't afford to maintain them, mate. Yeah, that's the problem.
You spent all your money on headbands.
The problem.
Is that
All got
all that-
GPS in them headbands. He knows where all them goons are at any one time.
Does Ian C have anything else to say, or is he just? He seems very invested in it.
He must have been frantically typing because there's literally no punctuation.
I just thought his username could be the letter E and C. Right back to him.
No, I can't remember which one that was on.
E equals NC.
Right, our 1.5 stars is Tim M out of 2008. Everyone's just like
Real names, yeah. Where's the Pooh twins?
Without even one line of dialogue devoted to showing why a man who retired in the first film, then came out of it to avenge his brother's dead, not death,
That's fine.
would come back and fight. He kills a cocaine/steroid using fighter, then is kidnapped and forced to fight, all capitals, to the death. Maurice Smith takes Billy Blanks' role as resident black guy and somehow manages to outact the Taibo warrior, which is astonishing. Pretty shit film, especially since the bad guy in this one, Sue, in inverted commas, is played by the same bad guy, Kwong, from the first one. ... Question mark?
I mean, well done, because, yeah.
I think they were supposed to be brothers, but Kwong died in the first one, so it was just really confusing. They had made a Kwong ghost who runs a death fighting league. It would have at least edged out Cage Honestly, having the full Hulk fight. Right, this isn't making much sense
I
now.
was going to say you've lost me here.
It would have had at least edged out Cage. Honestly, having the Hulk fight, Baby Six Killer, and Joanna Man in a bar fight. Not even the dragon can beat that.
I'm assuming they're all people.
Must be.
Joanna Man. Isn't that a Billy Joel song?
I don't know. That's a really confused. I'd have picked a different one if I'd have known that was the end of it.
Really didn't do your research. I didn't read all the way through.
No. Well, a lot of them were. This is amazing. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's hard with these cult films like that is to find stuff that isn't sarcastically positive. Right.
My last 5 out of 5. I like Gary Ward. I think he's going to be my new favourite reviewer from 2016. 4 words. Must see. Good movie.
Oh, you could let me guess. I'd be like kicking, run.
I hope Gary has done more reviews because I like that. It's straight to the point.
That's it, yeah. No fannying about. At least he's got punctuation in there as well.
Yeah, and no crazy names that doesn't make sense.
Electric cattle prod spree.
Irish key unlocks everything.
Oh, we should take this to Twitter. Sum up your favourite films in just 4 words.
But don't tell us what it is. See if we can guess.
We can guess what it is. I like that. We could get Gary Ward on, and he can be our guest.
He's the one that won the tyres from Fatal. Something new today. I asked for promos from other podcasts if they had them to send them in, so I don't have to sit here and go, I like it. So yeah, because I mean that's not going to make you watch it, listen to it, is it? So we have a promo, our first ever promo from the gentleman over at Neatcast.
The Neatcast, your source for offbeat news.
Marauding monkeys bring fear to historic Indian tourist haven. These monkeys have gotten aggressive. Anytime you hold a package in their hand, they'll come up and they'll snatch it from you. Like gang members. Like, take your chain.
Oh my god.
Hot takes on sports.
Drew Brees is a legend. How dare you?
He is, but he's done.
No, he's not. You pardoned him. He's coming back.
He wants to pardon Drew Brees. I want to throw him in prison.
And deep dives into the paranormal.
The Loveland Frogman. At approximately 3:30 a.m., an unnamed businessman, the most credible witness maybe you can find.
Unnamed businessman.
I was just doing business when I saw a frogman.
Join us every Monday and let's talk some bullshit. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your favorite podcasting apps.
Love the energy going into that. Love the bass
I wish
line.
I had a tenth of that energy. Yeah, you can find them on Twitter at Neatcast Pod, I think it is. They're good. I really like it. It's very, very fun. I like the weird. Pardon?
It's neat.
It is neat. It's neat. The damned. Yes. It's just, yeah, it's very. There's a lot of dad jokes in there as well, which I quite like because I'm approaching that time in my life now where that's what I do. So yeah. In conclusion, that was Bloodfist 2, The Quickening. Not to be confused with Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Empire Kicks Back. Judgment Kick.
Electric Kickaloo. No. You can't do Breaking 2 anyway because all the racist nerds have ruined it, haven't they? That was Bloodfist 2. If you want to listen to more of this, or if you've got promos you want to send them in to us at hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com. I'll give you a listen. I'll probably like it because I've not come across anything really so far that I haven't liked. I just like people going out there and doing stuff that they're prepared to spend the time to sit down and record it and edit it. Then the least I can do is give them an half hour of my time. You know what I mean? Every Friday I'll be doing these Twitch stream things. I'm late for this week's one, but
sorry,
kicking happens. It's fine. And Follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Greatness, Facebook, all that jazz. You know, it's at the start. You know it all. We'll be back next time, with something yet. We don't know what, but I have found something. I think I sent you the link, James, for that weird film that's got Gene Simmons in it.
All right.
I'll send it. It sounds bonkers. It sounds bonkers, yeah. It sounds like it could be fun. It's on YouTube, so. Your favourite quotes from Bloodfist 2, The Kickening.
Go on, Bernie, you go first.
Fuck you, nerd.
I was going to do 2. Son of a bitch, motherfucker. And also,
that's where I was going, yeah. Goodbye.
Bye. I was looking at the thumb, expecting it to do something, like have a smiley face on it or something.